A man named Balaam was a prophet for hire. A king hired him to go curse the Israelites because they were becoming a threat. Balaam set out on his donkey, heading down the road with his 2 servants, but God was not okay with this plan. An angel of the Lord appeared on the path ahead, sword drawn, blocking the way. The donkey saw the angel and veered off into a field. Balaam beat the donkey to get her back on track. A little farther, the angel appeared again in a narrow path between 2 vineyards with walls on both sides. The donkey pressed against the wall to avoid the angel, crushing Balaam's foot. Balaam beat her again. Finally, the angel stood in an even narrower spot, no way around. The donkey lay down under Balaam. Furious, Balaam beat her a 3rd time. That's when the donkey spoke. She turned her head and said, "What have I done to you that you have beaten me these 3 times?" Balaam answered her like it was normal, "Because you made a fool of me. If I had a sword, I would kill you right now." The donkey said, "Am I not your donkey, the one you've ridden all your life? Have I ever done this before?" Balaam said, "No." Then the Lord opened Balaam's eyes. He saw the angel standing there with the drawn sword. The angel said, "I came to oppose you because your path is reckless. The donkey saw me and turned away 3 times. If she hadn't, I would have killed you and spared her." Balaam fell face down and realized how close he'd come to death. Elisha was a prophet who had just taken over from Elijah. He was walking up to Bethel when a group of boys came out of the town. They saw him and started mocking him, yelling, "Go up, you bald head! Go up, you bald head!" Elisha turned around, looked at them, and cursed them in the name of the Lord. Immediately, 2 female bears came out of the woods. They mauled 42 of the boys. Elisha kept walking to Mount Carmel. Jesus was hungry one morning. He saw a fig tree in the distance with leaves on it, so he walked over hoping to find fruit. When he got there, the tree had no figs. It wasn't even the season for figs. Jesus said to the tree, "May no one ever eat fruit from you again." His disciples heard him say it. The next morning, as they passed by, they saw the fig tree withered from the roots up. Peter pointed it out. "Rabbi, look, the fig tree you cursed is withered." King Ahaziah was injured and sent messengers to ask a pagan god if he would recover. The prophet Elijah intercepted them and told them the king would die for not asking the God of Israel. The king sent a captain with 50 soldiers to bring Elijah down from the hill he was on. The captain climbed up and said, "Man of God, the king says come down." Elijah looked at him and said, "If I have a man of God, may fire come down from heaven and consume you and your 50 men." Fire came down from heaven and burned up the captain and all 50 men. The king sent another captain with another 50 men. Same thing happened. The captain demanded Elijah come down, Elijah said the same words, and fire came down again and consumed them all. The 3rd captain went up with his 50 men, but he fell on his knees and begged for his life and the lives of his men. An angel told Elijah to go with him. Elijah did, and he told the king face to face that he would die. Joshua was fighting the Amorites at Gibeon. The battle was fierce and the day was running out. Joshua spoke to the Lord in front of all Israel. "Sun, stand still over Gibeon, and you, moon, over the valley of Ajalon." The sun stopped in the middle of the sky and delayed going for about a full day. There has never been a day like it before or since when the Lord listened to a human voice. The sun stood still while the nation avenged itself on its enemies. The Israelites were under the rule of Eglon, the very fat king of Moab, for 18 years. God raised up Ehud, a left-handed Benjamite, to deliver them. Ehud made a double-edged dagger about a foot long and strapped it under his clothing on his right thigh, where no one would check because most people are right-handed. He brought the tribute payment to King Eglon. After presenting it, Ehud said, "I have a secret message for you, O king." The king ordered everyone out of the room. Ehud and Eglon were alone in the upstairs private chamber. Ehud reached with his left hand, drew the dagger from his right thigh, and plunged it into his belly. The blade went in so deep that the handle sank in after the blade and the fat closed over it. Ehud did not pull the dagger out. Then Ehud went out to the porch, shut and locked the doors of the upstairs room behind him, and left. The servants came and knocked but got no answer. They waited until they were embarrassed and finally unlocked the door, only to find their lord lying on the floor dead.
By the time they realized what happened, Ehud had escaped, rallied the Israelites, and they struck down about 10,000 Moabites at the fords of the Jordan.
King Saul had banned mediums and spiritists from Israel, but now he was desperate. The Philistines were gathering for war. God was silent, and Saul's prophets gave no answers. Saul disguised himself and went at night to a medium in Endor. He asked her to bring up the spirit of the prophet Samuel. The woman said, "Surely you know what Saul has done, how he cut off the mediums and spiritists from the land. Why are you setting a trap for my life?" Saul swore by the Lord that no punishment would come to her. She performed the ritual. Suddenly she cried out and said to Saul, "Why have you deceived me? You are Saul." Saul told her not to be afraid and asked what she saw. She said, "I see a spirit coming up out of the ground." "What does he look like?" Saul asked. "An old man wearing a robe is coming up," she said. Saul knew it was Samuel. He bowed face down with his face to the ground. Samuel's spirit spoke, "Why have you disturbed me by bringing me up?" Saul explained his distress. Samuel replied that the Lord had torn the kingdom from Saul and given it to David. Tomorrow, Saul and his sons would be with Samuel in the realm of the dead. A man of God from Judah went to Bethel and prophesied against King Jeroboam's altar. God had commanded him, "Do not eat bread or drink water in this place, and do not return the same way you came." An old prophet in Bethel heard about it, found the man of God, lied to him, and said, "An angel told me by the word of the Lord to bring you back to eat bread and drink water." The man of God believed him and went back to eat. While they were sitting at the table, the word of the Lord came to the old prophet. "Because you have defied the word of the Lord and did not keep the command the Lord your God gave you, your body will not be buried with your ancestors." As the man of God left, a lion met him on the road and killed him. The lion did not eat the body or attack the donkey standing nearby. Passers-by saw the body lying in the road with the lion standing beside it. They told the old prophet. He went, found the body, brought it back, mourned, and buried it. Elisha, the great prophet who had followed Elijah and performed so many miracles during his life, finally grew old and died. But right after his death, or at least in the time following it, the land faced new troubles. Bands of Moabite raiders began invading the country every spring. These were not full armies marching openly, but small, fast-moving groups that slipped across the border to attack villages, steal livestock, kill and plunder before disappearing back into their territory. One day, a group of Israelites was carrying out a burial. They had a dead man with them, wrapped in burial cloths, laid on a bier or carried by pallbearers, and they were heading to the burial place to lay him in his own tomb or grave. The exact reason for his death isn't recorded, but they were in the middle of the solemn process, walking toward the site, perhaps near where Elisha had been buried. Suddenly, in the distance, they spotted one of those Moabite raiding bands approaching. The sight caused immediate panic. These raiders were known for their violence. If caught, the mourners could be killed, robbed, or taken captive. There was no time to finish the burial properly, no time to reach a safe spot or fight back. In haste and fear, they looked around for the nearest place to get rid of the body so they could flee. The closest thing was Elisha's tomb, a cave or rock-cut sepulchre still fresh in memory. Without hesitation, they cast the dead man's body into Elisha's tomb. Some accounts describe them lowering or throwing it in quickly, not gently placing it, but dumping it inside to be done with it. Then they ran for their lives, abandoning the corpse there. The body fell. As soon as it touched the bones of Elisha, Elisha's remains still lying there after his burial, the impossible happened. The dead man revived. Life returned to him instantly. He came back to consciousness. The mourners who had fled in terror likely returned later or heard what happened.
The man who had been dead moments before walked out of the tomb, no longer a corpse, but a living person.